Okay, we're going to be doing a special video on the kings and queens of England. Um, and we're going to be starting off with the Queen Elizabeth II and who she inherited the throne. And we're going to be going to the ones that will take over from her, the heir apparent, which is Prince Charles. We're going to start off with him first, and he'll inherit the throne to Queen Elizabeth II, and then her, and then we'll get back to Queen Elizabeth II here in a second, and then his son that will inherit the throne after he dies, Prince William, Duke of Cambridge. Okay, we're going to be going back Queen Elizabeth II, and we're going to be naming the dates of when they were alive, possibly even the when they were reigned, the leader of England. She inherited the throne through her father, George VI, and I have to apologize if I don't know Roman numerals. And it says here he was born 1895, died 1952, and he reigned from 1936 to 1952. He inherited the throne from Edward VIII, that's his brother. He abdicated and he gave it to his brother George VI. And he was born in 1894, died in 1972. And he reigned from January 20th to December 11th, 1936. Almost a whole year. He inherited the throne from his father, George V. And I have some interest and information about him. He was actually the cousins of the leader of Germany at that time during World War I, early 1900s, and Tsar Nicholas of Russia before the Bolsheviks and the communists took over Russia in the early 1900s. So he's cousins of Tsar Nicholas, according to my research. And he was born 1865, died 1936. He reigned from 1910 to 1936. And he inherited the throne through his father, Edward VII. And he lived from 841 1910. Reigned 1901 to 1910, and he inherited the throne through his mother, Queen Victoria. She lived from 1819 to 1901, reigned 1837 to 1901. She inherited through William the IV, her father. She lived 1765 to 1837. And he was reigning from 1830 to 1837. Inherited the throne through his father, George IV. He lived from 1762 to 1830. Reigned King of England 1820 to 1830. And he inherited by his father, George III. He's the one that United States went to war with under that king. The Revolution 1776 to 1783. And he was born 1738, died 1820. Reigned King of England 1760 to 1820. Inherited the throne from his father George II lived from 1683 to 1760, and he had the throne from 1727 to 1760, inherited by his father George I. 1660 to 1727 is when he was born and died, and he reigned from 1714 to 1727, inherited the throne by his mother, Queen Anne, and she was born 1665, died 1714, reigned from 1702 to 1707, and she inherited the throne by, I believe, her father, King William III and II, and that's born 1650 to 1702, and he had the throne from 1689 to 1702. Inherited the throne through James II in VII, and lived from 1633 to 1701, and reigned from 1685 to 1688. Inherited the throne through King Charles II, and he lived from 1630 to 1685, reigned 1660 to 1685, inherited the throne from King Charles I. He lived from 1600 to 1649, reigned from 1625 to 1649, inherited through King James I. We lived from 1566 to 1625, and the reign he was a king of England from 1603 to 1625. He inherited the throne from Queen Elizabeth I, and she lived from 1533 to 1603. She reigned Queen of England from 1558 to 1603, and she inherited the throne through her mother, Queen Mary I. People call her Bloody Mary. She lived from 1516 to 1558, and she had the throne from 1553 to 1558. Inherited the throne through Queen Jane, Lady Jane Grey. She lived from 1537 to 1554, and she was a Queen of England from 1553 to July 10th, 1553 to July 19th, 1553, less than 1 month. And then she inherited from King Edward VI. He was born 1537, died 1553. And he was the King of England from 1547 to 1553. And he inherited the throne through King Henry VIII. Lived from 1491 to 1547. And he reigned the King of England 1509 to 1547. Inherited the throne of King Henry VII. Lived from 1457 to 1509. King of England 1485 to 1509. Inherited the throne of King Richard III. He lived from 1452 to 1485. I believe he was killed in battle. And he reigned King of England from 1483 to 1485. And then he inherited the throne from Edward V. And he lived from 1470 to 1483. And reigned from 1483 to April 9, 1483 to June 1483. And he inherited through Edward IV. I believe that's possibly his father. And he lived from 1442 to 1483. and he was King of England 1461 to 1470. Inherited the throne from King Henry VI. Lived from 1421 to 1471. And King of England from 1422 to 1461. And another reign was like 1470 to 1471. And he inherited the throne through King Henry V. Lived from 1386 to 1422. King of England 1413 to 1422. Inherited the throne through King Henry IV. Lived from 1367 to 1413. He was King of England from 1399 to 1413. Inherited the throne through King Richard II. Lived from 1367 to 1400. King of England 1377 to 1399. Inherited the throne through Edward III. And he was lived from 1312 to 1377. King of England 1327 to 1377. Inherited the throne King Edward II. Born 1284, died 1327. King of England 1307 to 1301 to 1327. Inherited the throne from King Edward I. Born 1239, died 1307. King of England 1272 to 1307. Inherited the throne from King Edward III. Lived from 1207 to 1272. King of England 1216 to 1272. Inherited the throne from King John. Lived between 1166 to 1216. King of England 1199 to 1216. Inherited the throne Richard I. Lived 1157 to 1199. King of England 1189 to 1199. Inherited the throne King Henry II. Lived from 1133 to 1189. King of England 1154 to 1189. Inherited the throne through King Stephen. He was either born 1092 or 1096. Died 1154. King of England 1135 to 1154. Inherited the throne through King Henry I. Born 1066, died 1135. King of England 1100 to 1135. Inherited the throne King William II. Lived 1056 to 1100. King of England 1087 to 1100. Inherited the throne to King William I. Born 1028 to 1087. King of England 1066 to 1087. Inherited the throne Edward Ethelred. And born 1052, died 1125. King of England. So it says 1067, 1066. And he inherited the throne through Harold Godwinson. Born 1022, died 1066. King of England 1066, 1066, January to October. Inherited the throne Edward the Confessor. And it says here, born 1003 to 1066, King of England 1042 to 1066. Inherited the throne Hathercut. Born 1018, died 1042. King of England 1035 to 1042. Inherited throne to Cnut. the Great. Let's say when he was born, and he was said he was the King of England at 1016 to 1035, and he inherited the throne through Edmund Ironside. Says he was born 990 to the 1016, King of England. Says here, looks like just 1 year, 1016, I believe. Inherited the throne through Ethelred the Unready. And says here he's born in 966, died 1016, King of England. 978 to 1013. Inherited the throne through Edward the Martyr, who lived between 962 to 978, or somewhere around there. I don't know. It's hard to tell when he was born. He was King of England from 975 to 978. He inherited the throne through Edward the Peaceful. He says here he was born, I think, 943, died 975. King of England 959 to 975. He inherited the throne through King Eadwig, born I believe 940 or something like that. Died 959. The King of England from 955 to 959. Inherited the throne through Eadred, Eadred. And it says here, born 923, died 955. King of England 946 to 955. Inherited the throne through King Edmund I. And it says here either he was born at 920 or 921. And died 946, King of England 939 to 946. Heir to the throne through Ethelthan. Says here, born 894, died 939. King of England 924 or 25 to 927. Heir to the throne through inherited the throne from Edward the Elder. And it says here, is born 874, died 924. King of England 899, died 924. Inherited the throne from Alfred the Great. King of, he was born 848 or 849, died 899. Reign of King of England from 871 to 899. Inherited the throne through a man named Ethelred, I believe. And said here is born in either 845 or 848, somewhere to 871. King of England from 865 to 871. And he inherited the throne through Ethelhart, I believe. Aethelberht, King of Wessex. Doesn't say when he was born necessarily, but it says he was King of England from 860 to 865. Inherited the throne through Ethelbald. Ethelbald was, doesn't say when he was born, but it said here he was King of England from 855 to 860. Inherited the throne through Ethelwulf. And doesn't say when he was born, but it said he was King of England from 839 to 858. Inherited the throne through Ecgberht. And see right here, it says he was born in 1770 or 1775 to 839. King of England from 802 to 839. He inherited by Bothric, Beorhtric, I think. And it doesn't say when he was born. King of England from 786 to 802. Inherited by Cethelwulf. That's Cynewulf. And I don't know if this is when he was born, but it says from 1757. He was King of England from 1757 to 786. He was inherited the throne by Sigebert. That's Sigeberht of Wessex. And he was King of England from 756 to 757. Inherited the throne through Cuthred. That's Cutthred of Wessex. And it says here, it said when he was born, it says he was King of England from 740 to 756. Inherited the throne through King Athelred. That's Aethelheard of Wessex. And it said when he was born, it said he's King of England from 726 to 740. He inherited the throne by a man by the name of Ine of Wessex. I believe he says he was born in 1670, died 726. King of England from 689 to 726. You have to excuse me, a little tongue tied here. He inherited the throne by a man by the name of Caedwalla of Wessex. Born 659, died 689. I've been trying to kind of rushing through this a little bit so I can get through this because there's a lot to go over here. He was the King of England from 685 to 688. Inherited the throne through Cinder Wine. And doesn't say when he was born. King of England 676 to 686. Inherited the throne by the man by the name of Aescwine of Wessex. And didn't say when he was born. King of England from 674 to 676. Predecessor is the one he inherited by Seawick, Seaxburh of Wessex. And didn't say he was born. Says King of England for 672 to 674. Inherited the throne by a man by the name of Senwad. That's Cenwalh of Wessex. Doesn't say when he was born. He's King of England from the dates of 642 to 645 and 648 to 672. Inherited the throne from Sengwins. That's Synegils. And I don't know if it says he was born in 611, but it says here he was the King of England from 611 to 642. He inherited the throne from Ceolwulf. That's Ceolwulf. We'll go to that in a second. Go ahead and click on that. And he was, doesn't say when he was born. And it said he reigned from King of England from 597 to 611. And he inherited the throne a man by the name of Ceol, I believe. And let's say when he was born. And he reigned King of England from 592 to 597. And he inherited the throne by a man by the name of Cewin, I believe. That's Ceawlin of Wessex. Doesn't say when he was born. He was King of England from 560 to 592. Inherited the throne from Cynic, Cynric. And doesn't say when he was born. He's King of England from 534 to 560. And then it goes to Cerdic. But before we go back to Cerdic, we'll go to Credo. I believe he was the one. And he was the reign perhaps 534. But if you go back, Cerdic, let's see if it kind of tie this one other person in there. Credo, he was 534, so they was around the same time period. Cerdic, he was, I believe, the first king of England, and he believe he was from Germany. He was where they originally come from. That was the first leaders of England was from Germany. And this is the map. We're going to cut. We're going to stop the video here in a second. I'm going to try to explain something to you. Of course, we're going to be going over other videos later. Leaders of Germany, leaders of Italy, and other European countries and Asian countries, China, Russia, Japan, places like that. Of course, like I said, countries up here, people from up here immigrated and they came to England and become leaders of England. And you know, here, right here, you said Anglo-Saxon, A-N-G-L-I-A, and the Saxon, so they're German descendants, so they're originally not from England, they're originally from Germany, and places up here like Norway, Sweden, places up here in North Atlantic areas, it's where they're originally from. The Anglo-Saxon migration, which right there tells they're originally from these other countries in the 5th century, based on Jones or Janes and Mattingly, Atlas of Roman Britain, Haywood's Dark Age Naval Power, Liebig's The Northern Seas, 5th to 8th centuries, Wood's The Channel from the 4th to the 7th centuries AD, and Davies' Annals and the Origins of Mercia. I believe that's what it is. So, like I said, it ties into other countries. I've already mentioned about Tsar Nicholas being the cousins of the King of England in the early 1900s. So, I believe that we could tie in the leaders of England to Russia and Germany. There is a connection there, and this right here is a proof, you know, that the first leaders of England were from Germany. So I believe that's where the connection comes from, why there's cousins and relatives in other countries that have come into England, who was leaders of other countries or related to people in other countries. So that's the tie-in right there. Okay, we're going to be talking about other videos later on. Thank you for your time.